Talk to me a little bit. Victor Osimhen staying at Napoli. Guys, did I not tell you this yesterday? I had a feeling. The drag out was too long. So the update here is that obviously Victor Osimhen will stay at Napoli. Chelsea pulled out of this completely. Now, Napoli and Victor Osimhen also had a falling out, and he won't even be selected for the first team. But the Saudi Arabian transfer window is still open for 3 more days. Now, we know Al Ahly has signed Ivan Toney, so it's not very sensical for them to go for Victor Osimhen as well, especially after the money that they spent on Ivan Toney. But could he potentially go to another Saudi club? Maybe. Gary, what do you think?
Well, all the information that came in suggested that Al Ahly were going to do just one deal in the window. So once they've got Ivan Toney and they are sure they are done. However, the prospect of a prolific goal scorer will be too good for some other teams. That's the hope that some of us are having, because we don't want to see this amazing talent on the bench for at least 6 months. And yet, I've been monitoring lots of the conversations, and some people believe that he's right not to want the deal that Napoli are giving him. So if he wants to sit on the bench or train with the under 21s, that's fine. But somebody like Antonio Conte is not going to sit around and look as, this guy is just there and he won't be played. He won't be used, especially when there's the opportunity to. He will be paid anyway. You get my point. It's not like he's going to be free. He's going to be paid. It's just that the club are going to punish him for the falling out and lack of agreement and whatnot. So, yeah, 2 things involved. Will Conte try and put some pressure on the club's administration to say that why do we have a Bentley on the bench and we are driving a Fiat here? Why do we have a Bentley? Why do we have a Rolls Royce and we are driving a Fiat here? Come on, guys, let's do
Sorry,
something.
Gary. Gary, hold on. Gary,
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to, just cut you short quickly, because you see, as a very huge fan of Lukaku, I think you are insulting our fan base and we don't like it. Like, what are you trying? Are you trying to say that us that are backing Lukaku is not a Fiat and Osimhen is the Bentley? Like, you need to elaborate on that accusation that I've just heard from you, because you are going to piss me off this early morning.
Why are we basically? I mean, if you've got a Lukaku and an Osimhen, you are better off having that than just a Lukaku for the season. Especially if you are Napoli. I mean, you can do twice what Lukaku would do if you have him and Osimhen. So why don't you use, especially if you are going to be paying Osimhen anyways? So yeah. Otherwise, maybe we have to wait for the next 2.5 days to see if a Saudi club decides that this guy's available. Let's do some magic anyway.
But at the end of the day, do you not think that the fact that Osimhen will be going back to Napoli, sitting on the bench, some people even believe that he might not even make the bench.
No, he's not. He's not a part of the first team.
Well, exactly. So he's not even a part of the first team, which means he's probably going to be training with the under 21s or the under 19s. Who knows which one is going to? Which I feel like is a very big insult for somebody who's the African Player of the Year, who has had all the records with Napoli, who was at some points was meant to be crowned the king of Napoli, until you remember the whole saga of. I can't remember the name of the player that they put on the chair, the king chair, when Napoli won the
Scudetto.
Yeah?
Scudetto,
Yeah, can't remember now. But no, I feel like it's not good. Like Gary said, if you're getting paid, you may as well use him, right? But then again, do you not think that there's some kind of tension between Osimhen and the club itself?
Absolutely.
Which means there's not going to be that relationship that will just flow, where it's going to be that thing of, right, okay, Osimhen didn't work out, you may as well still can't be productive for our club. Right now, it's not even going to be like that. And, it's just so sad to just see this happen. I saw Osimhen in Chelsea, and just to wake up today knowing that everything has just been shattered, it's really, I think it's a very bad news, man.
I have a question, and it might be a little bit controversial, but looking at this entire Osimhen situation from the outside, is there a part of you, and Gary, I'll ask you the same thing as well, but is there a part of either of you that thinks there might be a attitude problem with Osimhen? Because we know the talent is there. There's no doubt. whether he plays for Nigeria, whether he plays for Napoli, he is a phenomenal player. But I'm starting to wonder, we've seen him lash out, obviously, Finidi George, and he's very temperamental, it seems. When if people are coming for him, he will give you the reaction. Now, obviously, there's been a falling out with Napoli, and Napoli's owner has had issues in the past as well. We know this. This isn't any news. But do you guys think anything of... could any of the blame be on Victor Osimhen potentially for him being left in this situation? I'm not saying there is. I'm just curious as to what you guys think.
No, I mean, personally, I would think that every player has their behavior and, this different way on how they deal with things. The only one time I've seen Osimhen lash out, it's only been the whole Finidi George issue, which I felt like it was only fair for him to react. He's a human being. I understand that because of the profession they're into, they need to be somewhat professional when it comes to handling things that's got to do with the social media and how they tend to, have relationships with their coaches here. So, I mean, it's just been that one incident. Are people scared of his behavior? I would not think so. I think what we should be concentrating on is the talent that he has. I feel like the first thing anybody should be thinking about is what they can get out of a player, right? If I was a scout or if I was somebody who owns a club and I'm looking for a striker, I would not be looking for. Yes, you should look at the behavior to an extent, but I don't think Victor Osimhen has done anything that means they will be looking at that. Part of him, what he's had with Finidi George or relationship with players or coaches, whatever. I don't think he's had any much issues around that. Right now, I just think it's just all about, he wants to leave the club. That was the whole plan. And the other clubs that wanted him, one of them came with the big money and, I'm sure he wanted to play competitive football, which was why he was leaning towards Chelsea. It's just battle. I just think it's just, I don't know, it's just the universe. It just didn't work out. Things don't work out.
Yep.
People try stuff. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. He's just on the other side of it did not work for him.
Yep.
And who knows, maybe in January or even the next 3 days, he might still end up in Saudi. Nobody knows. He could still stay in Napoli, still getting paid even if he's not playing. In January, he goes. The talent is just not going to die within a space of 4 months. There's still time. I would believe, I'm sure he's still going to be respected like the Victor Osimhen that he is, and things are still going to work out. But his behavior, nah, I don't think so.
Gary, same question.
Right. As Clinton said, the behavior is on paper supposed to be something that clubs will try and manage, especially if you have his talent, his current ability, and the numbers that you bring in. However, I think that we would admit that probably it's not just him, you see. Remember the Yaya Toure thing was not just about Yaya Toure, it was about his agent as well. And we know that Osimhen's agent has antagonized, if I can use that word, Napoli a fair few times. And so I'm thinking it's not just Victor Osimhen, the human being problem. It's just an Osimhen's camps thing that's probably annoying them. And the way his agent even came out to say he was not going to be available, he was going to leave, he wants this, he wants that. I just can't shake off the feeling that it's not Osimhen the person, that, he's probably done something in camp or, all that. So, with that in mind, I think that there has to be a soul searching. And I also say that because the entirety of yesterday and 2 days ago, Nigerian Twitter has really been going hard on this situation. And there has been a talk on Nigerian Twitter, on Nigeria Twitter, about Osimhen and the people that he's branding himself with a lot. So that you have even heard people say that in a country, and Clinton knows this, you shouldn't be Victor Osimhen, somebody in his position, and ordinarily not have endorsements. Not to say an African Footballer of the Year. He's had that title for at least about 8 months. And apparently Victor has only one endorsement, Sarah and Clinton. Only one.